Now, one of my earliest memories of the disease Tourette's was watching a documentary back home called John's Not Mad. And there was a little English kid, and he couldn't stop spitting all over his food, called his teachers very rude names, and it was generally bloody hilarious. Of course, it's an affliction for many people, but some people embrace it. One of them is Dominic here, on my right, aka Tourette's. How are you, mate?
I'm good, how you doing?
Excellent. Always been very interested in how you got your name. Bit of a potty mouth?
Yeah, I was when I was younger, before I got the medication, but now it's all smoothed out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it came about.
Cool. No spitting on food, crazy facial tics?
Well, yeah, not these days, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a grown man now.
Yeah. Hearing your music in the past, I've got to say that, you know, your particular brand of hip-hop is not... You know, it's not the commercial side of it.
Yeah.
You're not afraid to get in there with some sort of abstract sort of beats and make stuff completely different to the norm. What's been your sort of background in music that's influenced that sort of style?
I really I used to play in a lot of punk bands and stuff, so I think rather than the sound so much, it's just kind of like that attitude of you just do whatever, you know. And I don't know what else. I guess just, you know, I listen to a lot of music. I like a lot of folk music and stuff. And again, that's like lyrically, you know, like that kind of music is just like, because your music's just an acoustic guitar and someone's singing, so like the lyrics are just solid. So you listen to that and the stories and the imagery that comes through that, you know. And also it's just like, you know, like we're never going to sell that many records, so it's just kind of like you just do what you want. Whereas I think a lot of people in this country are kind of a bit delusional, you know. They think if they do some commercial stuff, it's going to sell more, but I'll probably sell as many records as they do, you know. It's just the nature of it, living in New Zealand. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about the Breakin' Records stable. That's yours and Cybernetics, baby, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more Cybernetics these days. I sort of help him with the start. I kind of do like the bios and that kind of shit, but he mainly runs it. And it's, yeah, we're just still going. You know, we've got a compilation coming out soon. We had the first one came out in 2003, and so this is the next one, sort of follow-up. And it's basically just saying, you know, we're still here, and not only we're still here, but we've grown, and you know, the talent on the label's crazy now, you know. Got rid of some of the fluff and just got some new people. We've got RES on there now from Only Hunger, who are just like, the new stuff they're doing is insane, man. I treat the bad days as research. I wear my heart on my t-shirt. I got a soul that needs work. I flash my title, it could be work.
It seemed kind of like a couple of years ago, sort of a bit of an exodus of New Zealand hip-hop artists heading over to Australia. To sort of crack the market over there. And you were just telling me yourself you were over in Melbourne last year. Do you think that's been to the detriment of our hip-hop scene in New Zealand?
Not so much. I mean, I think it's like, you know, you can get paid over there, that's the difference, you know what I mean? And I think that, I think the scene here, basically, what really stuffed it up was that, you know, when Scribe blew up, that everyone sort of thought that they were going to be next, rather than just concentrating on making good music, you know. It's like, well, how can we sell? And even I'm guilty of that, you know. I wrote a radio single for whatever reason, you know. Not that I thought it was going to sell heaps, but it was just kind of what was expected at that time, you know. And unfortunately, we made a video and it still gets played to this day, so, you know.
You know, I think we're probably guilty of playing that that video ourselves.
Well, I get 50 cents a time, so I'm not complaining.
Put it on after this interview, eh? Okay, tell us about your mixtape that you've just done. Fantastic name.
Thanks. Can I say it on the air?
Absolutely. Right? Please do. Say it proud.
Give me $5 and I'll show you my dick. And that sort of came about because record sales ain't what they used to be, so we've got to make some money on the side there. Yeah. So, you know, I'm making cool $10 a weekend now. It's a good thing, man.
That's pretty good, you know. A couple of people interested every weekend.
What can you do, you know?
Yeah.
You got to make money somehow.
Exactly. Okay, so who's helping you out on the mixtape?
Well, I got, on production, I got Scratch 22 from The Unseen, and Exile, who's like an in-house Breakin' Rec dude. And the rappers, we got Jay Rocher from Christchurch, who's awesome. Legal Money Mike, also from The Unseen. What's his name? Tex Swift from RES, I mentioned before. And myself, and am I forgetting anyone? I'm going to get upset if I forget them. I think that's it. If I forgot anyone, I'm sorry, but
yeah,
it's early on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, so when did the whole sort of production of that start and the writing of it? Like when you're going into a mixtape, how different is it from making an album proper?
Well, actually, a lot of the material is a couple of the songs are from my old album, and then some of them are from the new album that didn't make it on, and then I've got some new stuff, so it's sort of all over the place. I think usually when people make mixtapes, they just throw a bunch of stuff together, where this is more like a compilation of what I've been doing over the last couple of years since my album, really. Because I've got some live spoken word stuff on there, and I got some of my friends to send me like the instrumental hip-hop that they make as well, and got some new stuff. So yeah, I think a mixtape's usually a bit more throwaway, where this isn't so much, it's more of a compilation. But we just call it a mixtape for want of a better name, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, you're saying like, people do that in between an album. Does that mean another album out soon?
Yeah, I've got one. It's pretty much done. It's recorded, and I just got to get it mixed and mastered in a moment. It should be out early next year. I think February's like the rough kind of date for it. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, you were mentioning before you're sort of getting into spoken word and that sort of thing. Tell us about your time in Melbourne and experiencing that scene over there.
Yeah, well, I went over, and I initially went over just to, do hip-hop, and that kind of like, I did a few gigs, but it was nothing really too great was happening, and then there was these spoken word nights I started going to, and poetry slams and stuff, which is sort of like an MC battle, but it's kind of poetry, and it's cool, man, and we're playing like the pretty big crowds over there, and people are really getting into it, and I've been doing it for years, but over here it's not really as big, so when I came back, I decided I want to try and get it happening over here,
Our sights up in the stars. There ain't nothing wrong with us. Well, later-day saints with a few bad habits. I got a friend who paints, he puts the truth on canvas. Everything he makes got that new day magic. Another classic laced with that two fake magic.
To that end, tell us about the gig that you got coming up on the 19th.
Yeah, it's called Another Night of Spoken Word. It's Another Night of Spoken Word, because the first one was a Night of Spoken Word. And it's going to be at the Schooner Tavern on the 19th, which is a Thursday. It's $5, and it's going to be myself, Cyphernetic, Siren Bishop from Usual Suspects, Legal Money Mike, Michael Pipes, Shane Hollins, and a bunch of other cats, plus my band, the Vietnam War, playing there. And it's basically everyone does about 5 minutes of poetry. It's real fast, it's all performance-based, no reading of paper, no kind of like whinging about your childhood kind of stuff. It's real good. We did one before, and it went real well, sold it out, so... Should we good night? Did I say Schooner Tavern? I said everything.
You said Schooner Tavern.
I said the whole thing.
Okay, well, coincidentally, the last night that this episode of Endzone is this very night on the 19th. So rush out right now, right after this, and head down to the Schooner. Shall we play that video of yours?
If we must.
Yeah, get another 50 cents in your pocket.
To him, indeed.
Here you go. Here's Tourettes with Lovable Losers.